Construction takes home the Freestyle Crown of Detroit.
Brand new truck. You guys spent so much time. Your entire a Tom Mintz run.
Hey, Brandon Lambert, Mark Cole, man, they're the best in the business. They know that's what that truck's in for each and every week. All you at home watching Monster Jam every week.
Over 1,500 horsepower is ready to be applied to the asphalt racing surface from this 1963 split-window Corvette Coupe and this 1955 Chevrolet Pro Modified. A capacity crowd on hand at Houston Raceway Park in Baytown, Texas for the Parts Plus Super Chevy Show. Those two cars you saw burning out were Pro Modified. Cars boasting 710 cubic inches injected on potent nitrous oxide or blown with 526 cubic inches with alcohol fuel. Hi everyone, I'm Ted Jones. Welcome to this special Texas edition of the Parts Plus Super Chevy Show. Backing up right now, that car that just burned out belongs to Wally Stroop. He hails from Kings Mountain, North Carolina, and as we said, it's a beautifully turned out 1963 Chevrolet Corvette. 706 cubic inches, a big block, porcupine-headed Chevrolet. Setting under the bonnet, he'll line up on the starting line against his opponent in the near lane, Charlie Carpenter from the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina. A 1955 Chevy, he too boosting 706 cubic inches of Chevrolet engine. Good green light start for both drivers. Give the advantage to Wally Stroop with a 4:74 reaction time. Stroop still out in front, nips Carpenter up with a 6:77 at over 200 miles per hour as he begins to bounce, putting on the front brakes. Our next pair burning out of the water box now. This is Raymond Bowser from Lucasville, Ohio, a 1995 Chevrolet Monte Carlo. He too using the popular 706 cubic inch combination, injected on nitrous oxide. His opponent over in the far lane will be Gary Shearer from LaPorte City, Iowa. Shearer's Corvette backing up right now into your living room is a 1994 Corvette ZR1, the potent Roberts and Shearer entry as we take a look inside. The crewman fanning the car door to get the smoke out. And then Shearer will purge the nitrous oxide system to allow cold, potent nitrous oxide to hit that intake manifold, making more horsepower for the 706 Chevy engine. Both cars pre-staged now. That means they're 7.5 inches away from the starting line. You see the purging of the nitrous going on over there by Gary Shearer. Both cars taking their time, a little bit too much time, I might point out. Now they're both staged. They come up against the rev limiters and drop the hammers. A red light start for Raymond Bowser will give the automatic victory to Gary Shearer. Here comes the Braz. Jeff Brozovich, his opponent Thomas Patterson from right here in Houston, Texas, the hometown favorite, driving a 1990 Pontiac Firebird and, of course, sporting a Chevy engine, but a relatively small Chevy engine, only 498 cubic inches. Brozovich backing up that 1934 Chevrolet Coupe, uses 526 cubic inches of Chevy, then he supercharges it with a roost-type blower and burns alcohol fuel. The Metro weather-stripping rubber-sponsored machine will stage very carefully on the starting line. His crew chief motioning him into the starting line beams. Brozovich against Patterson. Round number 3 of the quarterfinal action here at the Parts Plus Super Chevy Show at Houston Raceway Park in Baytown, Texas. Both cars are pre-staged. You see the top set of bulbs. Now the second set of bulbs means they're on the starting line. Brozovich the last to stage, and another foul start as Thomas Patterson took a shot at the tree and is giving Brozovich a little bit of a run, but the Braz wins it easily on the foul start, 663, 205 miles per hour. Here comes our next pair. You're looking at the unmistakable front nose of the 1937 Chevy Coupe of West Seneca, New York-based Fred Hahn. Hahn's opponent for this final pairing in our quarterfinal round of Pro Modified at the Parks Plus Super Chevy Show will be Frankie Taylor from nearby League City, Texas. That is a 1992 Camaro. Marina blue. He's using 615 cubic inches of big block Chevy, as opposed to Hahn in Giamatti's BDS-sponsored car, 526 cubic inches of blown Chevrolet. And there you see Giamatti, the blown master himself. No man can get more horsepower out of a street-type machine blown on alcohol than that man, Giamatti. Both cars in the final staging process now. Hahn last to stage and first to lead. Freddie Hahn, 5:21 reaction time to Taylor's slower 5:61. Wire-to-wire easy victory for Freddie Hahn with a 678, 206 miles per hour. When we come back, we'll go down and check in on the car show. Stay with us.
When your rear end is on the line, depend on Precision Gear.
With football, you have all sorts of injuries. Here we have Bruce Smith maintaining that knee. This is Thurman Thomas's the hamate bone fracture, metatarsus fracture. Oh, here's an interesting one. Hey, Bruce.
Huh?
Remember this?
Oh, yeah. That was the rookie that used to dial 0 instead of 1-800-COLLECT. He could have saved me up to 44%. Big rookie mistake. 1-800-COLLECT. Save the people you call up to 44%.
I couldn't sleep at all last night. Just thinking of you. Maybe things weren't right. Well, I was tossing and turning all night.
This ESPN Speed World coverage of the Parks Plus Super Chevy Show from Houston, Texas is brought to you by Parks Plus, America's family of auto parts stores, and by McGuire's Car Care Products for that brilliant finish. Let's check in now with Bill Stevens down in the McGuire's Car Show area here in Houston.
Dad, you know, whenever we come to a Parks Plus Super Chevy Show at the McGuire's Car Show area, I've always got my nose in the air looking for a Corvette or two that are special and unusual. And this 57 Vet right here is definitely that. Belongs to Brenda Sisney of New Caney, Texas. It's pretty stock appearing, but there have been some changes made to it that are pretty tastefully done. The first one you might notice underneath the hood is the small block Chevy that's had the billet treatment. Billet air cleaner, billet valve covers. Also, you'll notice it has dual quads, although this is not an original dual quad car. Also, you'll notice that it has an air conditioner compressor. This car is air conditioned. Wasn't available in 57, but they did a nice job of installing the aftermarket air conditioning in the car. The interior, you'll notice in the middle you've got a billet gauge mount with BDO gauges all the way across, and real close, notice here on the shift knob, that's the shift pattern for a turbo hydromatic. These cars originally came with power glides. The car has American mags and BF Goodrich low-profile rubber, and around the back, that's about as stock appearing a 1957 Corvette trunk as you're ever going to find. Not only is this car fun to look at, but you got to believe that it didn't cost a whole lot of money to take this 57 Corvette and turn it into a really trick street machine.
It's time now for the Precision Gear Crew of the Week. A look at great Chevrolet drag racing machines and the men that build, repair, and maintain them. Meet Super Chevy's most popular race car crews and drivers. Brought to you by Precision Gear. When your rear end is on the line, depend on Precision Gear. And now with our Crew of the Week, here's John Lundberg.
It's 1996, and we're standing in front of a 1938 Z38 Chevrolet Coupe. completely redone for the 1996 season. It's a study of computer, contour, and horsepower from the 706 cubic inch Scott Shaparoff engine that powers Carl Moyer's 1938 coupe. Carl, this is obviously a state-of-the-art vehicle. Why a 1938 body?
Well, we get a 100-pound weight break by using the old body style. And we're trying to take advantage of the weight break, which we feel like has some importance to our performance.
I understand that you've moved the car much closer to the limit of the rules, starting with a chin extension of 17 inches. What else is new on the car in terms of technology?
Well, actually, between last year and this year, we built a complete new one-piece carbon fiber body, which took off about 100 pounds off the car. We made some chassis adjustments or changes to get us closer to being competitive, and that with a new nitrous system that we're going to introduce this year, we feel like we could be a player.
Dave, in 1995, you did just about everything it took to race the Moyers Chevrolet. How has that changed for 96?
Well, John, what we did, we picked up a couple of people to help. We've got Brett Misitich, who came from CT Racing, and he's helping doing all the mechanical work with me and just sharing that. And we still have Dave Nicodemus, who's always helped, plus Mark Crawford, who's helping us drive the truck and sell all of our T-shirts and taking care of the loose ends, plus cooking for us at the track.
Carl, what do you predict in performance for this year?
Well, we've actually, with this car and the new look, so to speak, we've actually went faster than we've ever went before in our life. We're looking for bigger and better things. I actually think we're going to be competitive. We had some problems with the car last year. We were plagued with, I guess, what the racers consider to be their worst enemy, and that was tire shake. I think we had way more than our share, and just couldn't get the car down the track.
Carl, you impressed me as a Renaissance man. From Ankeny, Iowa, you're a car dealer, a drag strip operator, and you're on a full-time pro mod team. What do you do in your spare time?
Well, John, I actually try to create some spare time that I devote to my family, and lately it's been hard to come up with any spare time, but any that I have, of course, I spend it at home.
Achieving the American dream becomes ever more complicated. But for a car dealer, racetrack owner, pro mod racer and driver Carl Moyer, it seems to be happening right before our eyes.
All right, John, thank you much. When we come back, we'll look at those pro mods in action, round two.
He's a legend in rock and roll whose music continues to change with our times.
Still, after all these years of making records, I still get a bit nervous. You can't leave your hat on.
Now he's making the comeback album of the decade with super producer Don Was.
What I discovered making this record is that he's the greatest singer I ever heard.
See and hear the entire album as it was recorded for only $4.95 exclusively on Direct TV. Organic, the newest offering from Joe Cocker. Available on 550 Music.
It's such a drag to be on your own.
November 17th, 1968. The Jets are up by 3 over the Raiders. NBC leaves the game to show the movie Heidi at 7. The Raiders score 2 touchdowns. Joe McGinty is not amused.
I just snapped. I couldn't handle not seeing those closing minutes. For the next few months, I became withdrawn. I had blackouts. It was terrible.
We'd never preempt one of our studio shows for a family classic.
It's just morally wrong.
The Lone Star waves proudly over the racing presidings here at Houston, Texas. Ted Jones with you, along with Big Daddy Don Garlitz and Bill Stevens, as we're ready to go with our semifinal round of action. This is Jeff Brozovich, and his opponent will be the Robertson Scherer entry. This is Gary Scherer from LaPorte City, Iowa, a 1994 Corvette ZR1. And over in the far lane, you can see Brozovich's very rare and unusual 1934 Chevy coupe backing up. Both drivers laying down those hot, sticky tracks of rubber that they'll try and launch in just a few minutes. The burnout procedure is a part of the show, but also very much a part of the racing action. Now, Gary Scherer in the first round of competition cranked out a 678. Brozovic a 663. So Scherer needs to find about a tenth of a second somewhere deep inside that 706 cubic inch Chevrolet engine that powers the Corvette ZR1. A lot of nitrous purging going on there by Gary Scherer as he wants to make sure that it's nothing but cold, potent nitrous hitting that intake manifold when he launches off the starting line. Actually, a lot of these drivers don't use the nitrous right off the line. They'll bring it in second gear because they don't want to make too much horsepower in low gear, or they could go up in smoke or spin the tires and lose. The idea in drag racing to get from point A to point B as quickly as possible, and tire spin is not one of the quick ways to do it. First off the starting line will be Jeff Brozovic of 492. He'll hold it, picks up the victory with a 663, 206 mile per hour. Scherer had a game 667, and therefore was one car length difference. Bill Stevens is with our winner.
All right, let me see if I got this straight. 663 this round, 663 last round, and what did you qualify with?
663.
What's going on here?
Well, I don't know. You know, when it's good, it's good. And it's been real good to us. And like I say, you know, you just try to keep that tune-up the same, keep feeding it new parts. And thanks to our sponsors, here we are again.
Well, we'll see if you can uncork a 663 and find out who you're going to run in just a couple seconds.
Well, he'll be running the winner of this matchup. This is Fred Hahn from West Seneca, New York. His opponent, a beautiful 1963 Corvette of Wally Stroop from Kings Mountain, North Carolina. That's located about 30 miles outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, in case you were curious. Stroop, 706 cubic inches of big block Chevrolet, nitrous oxide injected. Now, nitrous oxide, just in case you wondered, is laughing gas. That's right, the same stuff that Dennis uses. The idea is it adds potent amounts of oxygen to the combustion chamber, and you need that oxygen to burn the excessive amounts of gasoline that you're going to squirt in there. Notice Jim Oddie backing Freddie Hahn into those tracks very carefully. You still see Oddie at the bottom of your screen signaling Hahn. A lot of hand signals go on right here. He's telling him, you're set to go, buddy. I've got you lined up. You're setting right in those two tracks of rubber you just laid down on your burnout. It's up to you now. See them roll forward in final staging. Oh, wheels up start right there for Wally Stroop, and then he had to shut it down. Freddie on wire to wire. Look at that ET. 6.60, 214 miles per hour. That'll put a psych job on Jeff Brozovic. We'll look at it one more time. You'll see why Wally Stroop was forced to lift and shut down as the car started to swerve violently to the center. Let's go down to Phil Stevens.
Well, you know, drag racing is a relative thing. Brozovic runs a 663. He's thrilled. You run a 660, but you're off. You qualified with a 43.
Well, I know. The conditions of the track changed greatly today from yesterday. The track was much better yesterday. We really toned things down here, and we're still spinning the tires pretty hard. So, actually, after the last pass going to 77, I broke a rear last run. The thrash to change it and to go out there and be able to go a 60.5 lane choice, I'm pretty happy with that.
Let's see if that happiness turns into a win, Fred.
Well, let's hope so.
When we return to Houston, Texas, semifinal round action with the Super Streets.
Another McGuire's brilliant finish. Alonso barrels down the main straight at over 200 miles per hour with Scott Goodyear right on his bumper. They're side by side at the checker flag as Alonso wins the 78th Indy 500 in the closest finish in Indy history. Truly a brilliant finish.
And if you want a brilliant finish on your car, look to Meguiar's, trusted surface care expert since 1901. Because no matter what you drive, it's Meguiar's for a brilliant finish.
If it's time you got into the computer revolution, then it's time for you to get into Best Buy. Because this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, all computers are priced at just 7% over cost or less. Every computer, every monitor, and every printer. It ends Saturday. And with prices this low, this promotion is not valid with any other offer. Computers, monitors, and printers at just 7% over cost or less. And with no payments at all for 6 months. Getting into a new computer is as easy as getting into Best Buy.
Riddle me this, Scatman. What's got 10 legs and kicks butt? Dig. Wake Forest is the team for me. Baddest mothers in the ACC. Demon Deacons ringing up the score. Packing their bags for a trip to the Final Four. just a noun. It's a verb. It's a bad verb.
Thanks for the grammar lesson.
Back in Houston, Texas, our coverage of the Parts Plus Super Chevy Show continues. We'll be ready to go with Super Street. But first, we thought we might explain to you why the field was just a little bit shy here today. You see, after the guys qualified, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Here's Bill Stevens.
Phil, what happened today in the Super Street division? Several competitors were disqualified.
Well, after we got them teched in and qualified, I guess they thought that the tech people wouldn't be watching them anymore. They went out and run way faster than they was qualified to run or licensed to run with their chassis certification, their driver's license, and some safety equipment. So the tech people was right on their toes and caught them, and we had to boot them out.
And in this division, what the cars have to have is predicated many times by how quickly and how fast they get on the quarter mile.
That's right, yeah. If they go so fast or so quick, then they got to have different equipment for it to compensate for the extra speed. So they didn't have it, and they was out.
Rules are rules. The Super Chevy people very safety conscious. We're ready to go with our semifinal round in Super Street. Mike Steele against Cord Clark. Cord Clark, a 67 Chevelle, and a good hole shot 491 reaction for Mike Steele. He'll couple that with a 789. Incredible. Bill Stevens is down in the Pro Mod pits.
Some routine maintenance and some not so routine maintenance going on the Jeff Brozovich pit before the final round. He already replaced a push rod in the engine from the semifinal. Right now they're setting the clutch adjustment in the car, and Jeff has run 3 consecutive 663 so far this weekend. You run one more, and everybody's going to be playing that number in the lottery. Can you do it?
I think we're going to go for a little better than that. I might have a little bit left here. We're going to hop it up a little. If I can get a hold of the track, I'm looking for a 59 or hopefully better.
59 would do it if Freddie Hahn runs another 660. And remember, Fred has lane choice going into the final.
We'll have that final after a while, but right now another semifinal run for the Super Street. You're looking at the DOT Street Tire of Dan Richenberg from Claremont, Florida, the 1970 Nova. His opponent, Keith Boudreau from Gonzales, Louisiana. That's a 1982 Z28 Camaro powered by a 454 Chevy engine. Richenberg over 600 cubic inches of big block Chevrolet. Richenberg first to complete the final staging process. They're ready. Good green light start. Wheels up start for Danny Richenberg. A 5:69 reaction time. And there'll really be no battle in this. Richenberg wire to wire. 8:48, 165 miles per hour. Now, Bill Stevens has moved over to another pit area down in the Pro Mod area.
Some inconsistency for Freddie Hahn this weekend. Qualified with a brilliant 643. Broke a rear end in round 1 and ran a 678 and came back with that 660 in the semis. Fred, I don't know. What do you think for this final round?
I don't know. What do you think?
It's anybody's guess. Is the car pretty much tight now?
Yeah, the car's okay. The track a little bit loose. We've been trying to be cautious and just win rounds, you know. So it's going to be a good run. I mean, Jeff won a 63. We won a 60. We have some left. I don't know whether we can use it or not, but I guess we'll have to go see.
You mentioned a little inconsistency in the racetrack, so lane choice may be a factor here?
I don't know. Both lanes really seem to be pretty equal. I don't think lane choice at this point is important unless somebody should break something out there. The left lane, the right lane, they both seem good. I kind of favoring the left lane, and Jeff's kind of favoring the right, so I guess we'll both end up happy.
Couple of nostalgia cars going into the final round, and we'll be back with it. Brozovich and Hahn right here on the Parts Plus Super Chevy Show.
When your show car or truck has got to be the best, when every detail counts, make it count with Soft Seal. The weather stripping and rubber detail products that make your show car or truck stand out from the crowd. All from America's leader in weather strip and rubber detail products, Soft Seal. Make your car a winner like the Soft Seal team of race cars and show cars. Find out how Soft Seal can put you on top. Call 800-426-0902 for a free catalog. 800-426-0902. When every detail counts, go with Soft Seal.
You know, heartburn medicines have been around for years. First came Tagamet, then Zantac, then Pepsid. But the newest, Axid, now in non-prescription strength as New Axid AR. The only one that says right on its labeling, for many, it can prevent heartburn completely. It's all right here. Tagamet HB, Zantac 75, and Pepsid AC don't say what Axid AR says. Complete prevention of heartburn. Now that's saying something. New Axid AR, proven it can prevent heartburn completely.
You know what you want, and you know how to get it.
No more foreplay. Name's Bond. James Bond.
GoldenEye. Own it on video today.
We got ace right trip flip, fullback motion, Q hot Louie, half 17, quarterback redraw, on two, ready?
The Giants try to outsmart Carolina on ESPN Sunday Night NFL.
Back in Houston, Texas, our finals are just about ready to go at the Parts Plus Super Chevy Show. We'll have Pro Modified Super Street and another class you haven't seen called Outlaw. We'll explain more about that in just a moment. Right now, it's time for the Performance Tip. Professional tips on the latest performance technology available. Brought to you by Summit Racing Equipment, the World Speed Shop.
You know, when I take the race car to the track, I've got a lot of things on my mind, but not near as many things on my mind as when I build the race car. Everything has to work perfectly. So I look to companies like RCI. They can guide me in a direction, for example, seat safety. Everything in that cockpit, they have. Well-designed harnesses, seats, my safety equipment, fire, shoes, suits, neck collars, and gloves. They go as far as fuel cells, and even safety for that car when it's in the trailer so it doesn't come loose. But the performance tip is really a financial tip. You know the decals you see on race cars? They're there for a reason. Pick a company that offers contingency award postings. If your car does well, they're going to pay you back. But one more important thing, always look for the SFI certification.
That SFI Safety Foundation certification is very important indeed, Bill. We're ready to go as promised with the Super Street Final. Mike Steele, Shreveport, Louisiana, 1972 Chevrolet Chevelle, 615 cubic inches, qualified number 1, the number 2 qualifier, the man we've seen so often here on the Parts Plus Super Chevy Show trail, purging his nitrous as he pulls to the launching pad. Dan Richenberg, Claremont, Florida, 1970 Nova. Good green light start. First off the starting line is Danny Richenberg, but here comes Mike Steele. Power on the top end. Yes, Mike Steele. 802, 175 miles per hour. 802 is a great accomplishment for Steele, but can you believe the 789 he turned in the semifinal round? Let's go down to top end now. Bill Stevens is with our winner, Mike Steele.
802, well, not quite a record, but it gets you the victory.
Oh, yeah, not too bad. We set the record this weekend with the 788. Everything's been a great weekend. We won the Super Bowl of the races last week at Orlando, and this weekend we capped it off with the national world record, 788. We backed it up with the 789 in the first round eliminations. Didn't quite get on the juices quick that fast, but hey, we'll take it. It's a great win for us. We're excited and hope to be here again next year.
Well, we hope you're here again next year, too, Mike Steele, and hopefully at Gainesville, which is our next stop on the Parts Plus Super Chevy circuit. You can see coverage of that here on ESPN. Now, burning out are the Outlaw car finals, and the car you're looking at right now is Kelly Blue Ball's 1980 Chevrolet Citation with 632 cubic inches of big block Chevrolet injected on nitrous oxide. Now, this Outlaw circuit out of California allows you to use drag racing slicks, believe it or not, instead of street tires in the name of safety. They have quite a circuit going. They're going to have about 8 events next year, and they run some of those events in conjunction with the people here at the Parts Plus Super Chevy Show. Blue Ball backing up very carefully. His opponent, the 1996 Lumina, the red car in the near lane, out of Calamus, New York, John Gosselin. Boy, he towed a long way down to Houston, Texas from New York State. 572 cubic inches of big block Chevy tucked down in the front engine compartment of that 96 Lumina. Good green light start, a whole shot for Gosselin with a 4:52 reaction time, but here comes the big horsepower of Blue Ball. Blue Ball picks him off with an 806, 169 miles per hour to Gosselin's losing 828. Ready now with our finals in Pro Modified. That's Jeff Brozovich in the far lane being lined up and the computer being turned on. He'll be running Freddie Hahn, and Gary Scherer in the center of your screen is standing by watching this final action. Freddie Hahn has already locked up the World Championship on the Parts Plus Super Chevy circuit one more time. Wow, what a race it's going to be. Freddie Hahn, 647. 216 miles per hour to Brozovich is losing 659 at 207. This ESPN Speed World coverage of the Parts Plus Super Chevy Show from Houston has been brought to you by Precision Gear. When your rear end is on the line, depend on Precision Gear. Down on top end, our winner Fred Hahn and runner-up Jeff Brozovich compare notes as they look at their ET slips. They had other classes here at the Parts Plus Super Chevy. Our congratulations go out to those winners in Super Pro, Pro Street Tire, and Junior Dragster. This is Ted Jones. On behalf of Big Daddy Don Garlitz and Bill Stevens, we'll see you next time from Gainesville, Florida.
Without a doubt, 1996 proved that the SOTA World Series has become the fastest growing form of off-road racing, where life